And we've been talking about this area of the world, Southwest Asia, Central Asia, and North Africa. And we've said that, what is the climate like? What is the climate like in North Africa, Southwest Asia, and Central Asia? What do you think, Jayla? What's the climate like?
Hot.
It's hot. Why?
They run out of water.
Okay, so they're lacking in water because it's hot? What happens to the water if it's really hot outside, Josh?
It dries up.
It dries up, yeah. And if it dries up, what did the reading say that it might leave behind? Jerry,
Salt.
it leaves salt. Is salt good for farming?
No.
Keyshawn, what do you think? It's not good for farming. So that causes a problem, doesn't it? Well, these people rely on farming. We have an activity to do today where we are going to focus in on this issue of lack of water in the region. And so it's a problem for people on a daily basis. Some people don't have water for farming. Some people don't have water for consumption. Is it a good thing if you don't have water, clean water for consumption? Yes? No? Tell me. No, it's a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
How long can the body go without drinking water? What do you think? What do you think, Rose?
How long?
How long can the body go without drinking water?
3 days.
3 days. I get thirsty after 30 minutes. I have to have a bottle of water all the time. So that's a normal thing. And we're kind of spoiled in this country, aren't we? We're spoiled in this country because we have bottles of water that we carry with us. We throw in our book bags, and we have access to this clean drinking water all the time. It's not that way in other countries, and especially this region of the world that we're talking about. So what we're going to do today, you're going to get a rubric from me, and this rubric, it is geared toward each of you as individuals. Some of you are going to get a rubric that asks you to write a persuasive essay. You're going to be writing a persuasive essay to an audience that is going to be interested in what you have to say. And they want to know whether irrigation is a good thing or a bad thing when it comes to watering crops. Some of you are going to get a rubric that asks you to write a narrative story that ties in a moral to the story at the end, or a lesson that is at the end in regards to what happens if we misuse our water resources. And then others of you are going to get a narrative essay that asks you to tell what life is like if you didn't have clean drinking water, and how that would pan out on a day-to-day basis, and what you would be missing out on. So the first thing that I want you to do when you get your rubric is, obviously you're going to read over it, and you're going to create a graphic organizer. This helps you to gather your thoughts. You're going to create the graphic organizer so that you don't just blindly start writing. Once you've got the graphic organizer completed, then you can start in on developing your intro paragraph, developing your body paragraphs, and developing your conclusion. Regardless of which rubric you get, all of you are going to have a spot on your rubric for the intro paragraph and the development of that, the body paragraphs and the development of that, and your conclusion paragraph. Remember that you have some resources in the classroom. You have the posters that we've made, the anchor charts about developing your body paragraphs, so consult those if you need to. The anchor chart we've made about the hook and drawing in your audience, setting the scene so that people are interested in what you're writing. Eddie, you have a question?
How many body paragraphs?
It's kind of one of those things where you can have as many as you need. I'm not really going to set a limit on it and say, or a maximum and say you've got to have an intro paragraph and 3 body paragraphs and a conclusion, a typical 5-paragraph essay. I'm not asking for that. I'm asking that you Share enough information so that people know what you're talking about and you sound like you're intelligent on the matter that you're discussing. So it can be as developed as you need with as many paragraphs as you need, okay? So after you've completed your graphic organizer, then you can start in on your rough draft. Now, this is something that's going to take us more than just a day or two. It's something that we're going to work on in class. It's something that you'll have some checkpoints along the way where you can work on it at different points as homework. So Carlos isn't here. Alyssa, I've got yours here. DeMonte. Kevin. Keyshawn. Jalen. Shakoria is not here. Trayvon's not here. Addie. Jakira. Ethan. Jarius. Faith. Tiana. Javante. So while I'm passing these out, take a moment to look and see which one you're going to be writing about. I'm going to read them out loud so that we hear the prompts. Marcus. Eddie. You're welcome. Amaria.
Yellow.
And Amar. Okay. So remember I said that we're all kind of writing on the same type of topic, the fact that there's a scarcity in water, whether it relates to crops or to fresh drinking water in this region, the Middle East and North Africa and Central Asia. We're taking different paths to get to the same finish line. And so if we look at the yellow prompt, those of you that have the yellow prompt, this is a narrative. It says, write a story of the seas that details the environmental problems associated with the area's waters in narrative form. So you're the narrator. You're telling the story. You may make your story a fable by incorporating a moral or a lesson at the end of the story. Notice your rubric has spots for an intro paragraph, body paragraphs, and a conclusion paragraph, and it tells you what's expected within those. If we look at the pink prompt, narrative writing again. Tell a story about what life is like for people in the regions of North Africa, Southwest Asia, and Central Asia, where water is scarce. Write a narrative story about the need for clean drinking water and what life would be like if you did not have it. Remember, the body begins to shut down after about 3 days without water. Once again, you have an intro, a body, and a conclusion. And an orange prompt. The orange prompt says, write a persuasive essay, either supporting or opposing irrigation in North Africa, Southwest Asia, and Central Asia. Direct your essay to the leaders of the countries, asking them to either stop or continue irrigation. So all of you have an essay or a story that you're going to be writing that deals with water. It is your job to take that and to run with it. So we're going to give you some time. Go ahead and get started on the graphic organizer. Let me champ this out for you so you know what is expected. Our conversation level here, while we're gathering our thoughts, we've got about 20 minutes left in class. So our conversation level, I want it at 0 for the next 10 minutes so that people have time to develop their graphic organizer, get their thoughts down on paper. If you need help, you can ask me. The activity is you are writing, and we're starting with our graphic organizer. Movement should be if you use your hand signals. And participation should be 100%. I should see everybody writing. Are there questions for me? Okay, you can get started. I like to start out with a spider web. It's my favorite. Some of you like a table, but put your idea here in the middle. And whether you're writing a narrative or a persuasive essay, put your bubbles off of that. Okay. Shortage. Yes. So you have to tell a story about what life is like for people in the regions of North Africa, Southwest Asia, and Central Asia, where water is scarce. So what is life like? So you might put yourself in that position, telling me that you're a peasant that lives in a local village and you have very little drinking water available. And so what's your life like? You wake up in the morning and what happens? What's the first thing you might look for? Yeah, you're looking for water right away. Okay, so that could be how that could start out. Give yourself a name and put yourself in that position. Go ahead. It's on the desk there. The information's right in here. And other environmental issues, they talk about irrigation. They talked about some irrigation here with the rivers, but mainly in here. And other environmental concerns, the seas. Okay. You're welcome. So if you're interested in where can I find this information, some of my supporting evidence in the book, on page 291 and 292 are where we've read, and it starts with environmental concerns, the seas, on page 291. Okay. Look to those resources for your evidence. Yes. Yeah. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. I know. No, I want you to put it on paper. Okay. At least I want you to get the graphic organizer down on paper. So, Amaria, if it's hard for you to gather your thoughts just starting out writing, that's why we start with the graphic organizer. So the idea here is to get your thoughts down. If you have the pink prompt, where we're talking about having a shortage of clean drinking water, okay? Put yourself in that position. You wake up in the morning. What's the first thing you look for? Water. You look for water, okay? Now, you don't have indoor plumbing because you live in a hut in a village in Libya. What are you going to do to get water? Okay, that should kind of be where your story starts. Yeah. Yep, go ahead. If you have the orange prompt and you're writing the persuasive essay, your way of starting might be that you've placed yourself as some high-ranking official. Go ahead, you're fine. Some high-ranking official that is trying to convince the government of Egypt that irrigation is bad when it comes to the dam, and that people farmers are suffering because their fields are not as fertile as they once were. And people have to go buy expensive fertilizers.